Here we go. Got it. Hello, Facebook family. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening, Facebook family.
It is your favorite couple on this Thursday night. I know y'all been waiting on us and excited to see us like we have been excited to see y'all on this Thursday night and say, yeah, right. Tell somebody who cares. Listen, I know we tired and as well. So we know everybody else tired as well. But listen, we won't be long with you on tonight. And so how long is that? It'll just be shorter than last time, whatever that is. So I'm gonna keep my word. It won't be long.
Don't count on it.
And so royalty is in the house tonight.
Yes.
And your highness and your highness.
Yes, yes.
We're in the house tonight. Listen, I want to thank those of you that have been joining us live or indirect or replay, whatever the case may be. Thank you for your feedback. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for allowing us to come into your home, into your life, and to speak into your life. And so we're going to continue our hot topic. You know, this is one of these questions that kind of got a lot of long answer and a lot of answers to it. So that's why we're still on. So we're going to continue to talk about tonight how to rekindle your fire of desire for your spouse. We'll continue that. And we left off in Proverbs chapter 5. So I want to go back to that on tonight and revisit that chapter, because there's a few key words there we want to take a look at tonight. So bear with us and stay with us. And let me explain to y'all why we kind of do it the way we do it in terms of repeat subject matter and topic matter, because you know you just don't get it in one time or the first time and whatever. It takes multiple times, because I've learned something about the human mind just by the way God designed it, and then how sin has affected all of our minds, you know, the truth be told. And it requires some repetition. It requires meditation. And meditation is mental repetition of something on something or someone, you know. And so that's why we do that, because you know, we're not trying to come in and give you quick fixes, because there's no quick fixes. Some things happen quicker than others, you know, but there's no quick fixes. And usually, you know, it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take time. So we're not going to bore you. And if we do, then we're going to pray for you. Yeah, because you're the problem if you get bored with the word of God. And so anyway, we're talking about how do we rekindle that fire. If you lost the fire's gone down, it's gotten too low or whatever, regardless of whatever the level is, the principles and the truths are the same. You know, even though we have our unique situation. And so we've got about 6 practical steps. 6 practical steps. We've only got to like 1 or 2 of them, but I want to review the 1 or 2 we've gotten so far. And then we're going to look at a couple of key words in Proverbs chapter 5, and then we'll go to Proverbs chapter 18, you know, and because we saw in Proverbs 26, verse 20 to 22, that, you know, you've got to feed the fire wood or coal. You know, you got to feed the fire, and think about wood or coal. You know, you feed the fire. You know, typically in our modern times, you know, you use coal to put on a coal burning unit, which is usually a barbecue pit. You know, and sometimes they put wood in there. You know, a real good griller, you know, he can use wood too. A real professional one use wood, because I get that smoke out of that wood into that meat, you know, whether it be mesquite, you know, a pine or whatever kind of flavor you like, you know, and these guys and girls can do that. And but for the most part, you know, you're talking about a fireplace, you're talking about wood. You know, so what did that say to you and I? That says, you know what? There's different things that you got to use depending on the area that you're talking about in your life, you know. So you don't always, you know, all the like, for example, you know, an aerosol can is combustible. But you don't want to put that in a fireplace or a pit. You're gonna blow up the relationship. You're gonna kill both of you, you know what I'm saying? So the point I'm trying to make to you is that just because something is flammable don't necessarily mean you use it everywhere and across the board. You've got to be specific and strategic in, looking at the areas of your life, because, you may have lost a passion in one area, and not in another. And, but there's some areas that carry more weight than others.
Yeah.
And when things get heavy in certain areas, man, they can make you just give up on everything. And I just believe by the Holy Spirit that there's somebody out there tonight, that you can really relate to that. Yeah. That y'all got it hot over here and hot over there, but right here is so cold.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's so cold that it's below zero.
Right.
And it's sucking the heat out of the other areas of your life, and your relationship, and making those areas go cold, because this area here is so below zero.
Wow.
And so you've got to pay attention to that. You got to do something about that. You can't just let that go and get into a survival mode, because the Spirit of God is telling me a lot of you have got into a survival mode.
That's miserable.
That you get, but watch this. You got enough flame for each other that you don't want to break up. You don't want to leave. You don't want to go your separate ways, because you don't want nobody else to have them, or whatever the case may be, and so enough to stay there, but it's cold. It ain't, no, that's not good. God don't want you to live like that. And you should not accept that. We need to stop accepting stuff like that.
Right.
And stop saying things, well, you know what? We just human, and you just don't understand what I'm dealing with, who I'm with, and what it doesn't matter.
That's right.
And I'm talking to people of God now. If you say you're a child of God, now if you're not a child of God, then I don't know what else to tell you other than the truth, and then to tell you get a relationship with God, because you're at the end, you're at the end. But when a child of God is at the end of ourselves, we're not at the end of life, and we're definitely not at the end of God. It just simply means we're at the end of what we know.
That's right.
And so if you're at the end, or we call your wit's end at what you know, stay tuned and tune in, and let God give you some things that you don't know.
So true.
But you got to be open to be taught. You got to be honest, you see, to be taught the truth, and so let's look at Proverbs chapter 5. Proverbs chapter 5 will help us to deal with our points, especially our first 2 points. Proverbs chapter 5, verse number 15 through 19. We're going to read it again, and then I'm going to pick out a few key words here that we're going to highlight. And but it says this, and this is, again, this chapter is talking about the wisdom of a relationship. Married couple is telling you, and it's given it to you metaphorically, it's given to you parabolically, given to you in a very practical human terms, and then using the word water and well and cistern and fountains, all the kind of things, because to describe. Then chapter 26, it talked about the fireplace. But in this place, it's talking about your fountain, the same thing. Your fountain gonna dry, your well gonna dry, because if the fountain is dry, it's because the well is dry, or because something is clogging up the fountain the way it can't draw the water from the well. You got good stuff in you, because think about it. How many times you hear people say, no, they good people. You're a good man, they're a good woman. Right. But you don't know how to draw the water out the well, or they don't know how to draw the water out of their own well, for whatever reason. And so he says this. It says, drink waters out of your own cistern, and running water out of your own well. And the cistern is fountain out of your own. See, so the first thing here is this, is that, as we said, number one is you got to be intentional with your relationship. You got to be intentional. It says, drink water out of your own. You got to keep your eyes, or put your eyes back on your relationship, not somebody else's.
That's right.
Because did you not know that's a killer?
Yeah, that's right.
So listen to this. Get your eyes off of other people's relationship.
Yes. That is.
It's okay to appreciate our wonderful relationship.
And learn
from it.
Relationships.
Yeah, and learn from others.
Yeah. That's right.
But don't look at other relationship in the wrong way to where you start judging yours, because that'll discourage you.
Yes.
I've seen so many people do that.
Yeah.
You know, that you get discouraged by your relationship, by the goodness of somebody else's relationship. Well, here's how you prevent that. If you're going to look at it, go talk to them.
Right.
See, if you're not going to talk to them, then do the other thing. Use that other relationship as a reminder of what could be for you.
Yeah.
But I'm finding a lot of people that's not mature enough to do that.
Right.
You know, they look at other relationships as haters or as worshipers, so to speak, you know, that you elevate other people. No, and then put your relationship down. Don't do that.
Right. Comparing.
Yeah, compare it.
Yeah.
You know, the Bible says, listen, the Bible says it's foolishness to compare ourselves among ourselves.
That's right. Yeah.
Foolishness, you know.
You gotta stop that.
Yeah, don't do that in your churches. Pastors don't compare customers. Don't encourage couples to encourage, you know, to compete with each other, rather. And stop competing. That stuff kills. That stuff puts out your fire.
That's right.
You see? And so stop comparing your spouse with somebody else's.
Or with your pastor.
Yeah, with your pastor, you know, and first lady, you know what I'm saying? And think about it, it does. See, because you got to understand something, that the fruit of our relationship, it is what it is because of the investment we're making. So if you want what you see, find out what you need to do.
That's right.
All right. So this is telling us, drink waters out of your own. You got to own your relationship. You got to own what's going on. You got to look at your own, because it's telling me, listen, there's something in your own relationship that can help you. You ain't got to go to nobody else's. That's right. Other than for wisdom and knowledge and understanding.
Yeah, to make it better.
Yeah, right. You don't need another spouse. You don't need them. If I had them, no, if you had them, you probably run them away too.
Yeah.
You know, I tell people all the time, some folks, you know, and I guess it applies to women for the most part, because Jesus is a man, was a man, is a man, was a man here on earth. I tell some folks that, you know what, excuse me, I didn't think I would be young tonight. Anyway, I thought she'd be the first one young, because she said she's tired of me. And listen, some folks would be messed up and divorced if they were married to Jesus.
Wow.
You know why? Because you won't listen. See? So it ain't always who you're married to. It's how you are married to who you're married to.
All right. That's a new concept.
Say it again. It ain't always who you're married to. It's how you are married to the one you're married to.
Gotcha.
See? Because a lot of times we don't want to learn how to be married to the person we're married to. You know why? Because we got some other ideas in our mind and we're trying to make them work with that person. Well, what gave you the thought and expectation that they can fulfill what you're thinking?
Right.
So in other words, he's telling you this: drink water out of your own system. Listen, you gotta learn to work with what you got. Work with who you got.
That's right.
That's all you can do. See, that's basic stuff. But you got to start there and then build on it. And then watch this. If you don't like what you got, then work on it. See, work on it.
Work on
you know, work on yourself.
Yeah.
And then help each other work on what?
Because you work together.
Yeah, you work together. You know, just because you don't like what you know, could nobody keep you from it at the altar. So go back to what you go back to those thoughts.
Altar. What about before the altar?
Yeah, and before the altar, it couldn't keep y'all apart. Now we fighting to keep you together.
Guilty as charged.
Oh, guilty as charged. Yeah, we both guilty as charged.
That's right.
So think about it. And I'm gonna kind of lead us into our next point, but let me finish this point here, because our second point is gonna be about what I just said. Going back to the altar, so to speak. He says, let your fountains be dispersed abroad in rivers of waters in the streets. In other words, let everybody see what you got for the one you got. See?
That's good.
All right. And then let them be only your own and not strangers with you.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna show you how you can have some strangers with you and nobody see the strangers but you.
Mhm.
I'm gonna talk about that in a minute. Who are the strangers?
Yeah.
I know you probably now obviously it's telling you, keep outsiders
Mhm.
out of your relationship.
Mhm.
Protect your relationship from outsiders
Yeah.
in regards to yourself and your spouse. You both have that responsibility. But then I'm gonna tell you something. I've learned over the years there are some inside strangers.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna talk about those in a minute.
Intimate.
Not in the minute, but into a minute. All right.
Okay.
That's the hood in a minute. Okay. All right. So watch this. He says, so let your fountain be blessed and rejoice with the wife of your youth.
That's right.
Let her be as a loving hind and pleasant roe. Let her breast satisfy you at all times
Mhm.
and be you ravished
Ravish.
always.
Mm.
Now, he's not telling you to do something that you can't do,
That's true.
even though you think you can't. The issue is, do you really want to? You can.
That's the question.
See?
Mhm.
Yeah, because that was a time where you were ravished towards each other.
Yeah.
Now, why we can't get you to roar now? We can't even listen. You used to be ravished about each other. Now we can't get you to rub each other. Why? You don't let the fire go out. Watch this. It says, and why will you, my son, be ravished with a strange woman
Foolish.
and embrace the bosom of a stranger?
Hmm.
I want to look at, so we said, number one, the first thing you got to do is you got to be intentional about dressing your relationship. You got to go back to where you lost it.
Mhm.
You got to go back to where you lost it, which means you got to think. You got to think about it. See, you can't just feel, because
Right.
if you just keep trying to feel your way through it, that's why you're not going to make it. You got to think here now
That's right.
and say, okay, you know what? Where did I lose the fire? Where did we lose it? That's number one.
Mhm.
Got to go back, find when you lost it. Number two, in order to do that, you got to renew and remember
Mhm.
your original passion. Because watch this. Look at verse number 18.
Mhm.
I love this. It says, let your fountain be blessed.
Hmm.
Let your relationship, let that person in your life, see, because we drink from each other's fountain.
Mhm.
I drink from a fountain.
Baby, how you drink from each other's fountain? Real quick, elaborate on that.
You drink. Think about it. And by the way, I need a drink anyway. So here's how you drink from each other's fountains. Watch this. In this particular case, I got to take the top off,
Mhm.
right? And then I take a swig. Listen, the word drink there simply means to draw
Mhm.
from.
Gotcha.
Draw from.
Mhm.
Draw love from your fountain. Draw happiness from. Draw from. Draw from.
Mhm.
But remember, every fountain has underneath it a well.
That's right.
And if you're going to draw from the fountain,
Mhm.
you got to keep the water running in the well.
That's right.
See, so while it's telling you to drink from your fountain, it's also implying you got to make sure there's water there.
Mhm.
So watch this.
Hmm.
Draw is withdrawal, to take from and take out of it.
Right.
But you got to make deposits.
That's right.
You got to make it deposit in each other's lives. But watch this.
That's
More important in each other's lives, you got to make deposits in your own life.
Yeah.
You got to check the water in your own well.
Yeah.
And watch this. Your well is your mind and your spirit, your attitude, your emotions,
Yeah.
your thoughts.
Mhm.
That's your well. You've got to do it. Your wife cannot
Hmm.
fill up your well. Your husband cannot fill up your well. You got to put water in your own well.
That's right.
So your husband and your wife can draw out of it.
Yeah.
So I'm responsible.
Mhm.
But then watch this. You have to take the initiative to drink from my well.
Mhm. So it's a two-way street.
Two-way street.
It really
I got to
is.
take the initiative to drink from your well,
Right. Mhm.
which tells you, he says, don't be drinking from another well that's not yours. It's called a stranger.
Wow.
And I'm going to show you in a minute when I get to this, hopefully yeah. I may get to it tonight. I don't know. Because sometimes you're trying to drink from both wells.
Mm.
That's called infidelity. I'm talking about mentally, not necessarily physically.
Wow.
You may not be doing anything physically, but you're having conversations,
Mm.
you know, probably just within your mind or with an actual person.
Very
That's
good.
cheating on yourself first. Then second of all, you're cheating on your spouse. And then watch this. You're cheating your relationship, which means you are poking holes
That's right.
in your own well. While you're trying to draw water from someone else, you poking holes in yours.
Mm. Wow.
And then watch this. And then you probably breaking off the fountain of your spouse, because when you find the negative things about them, that means you're trying to find ways to break up that fountain so you don't have to drink from that fountain no more. And when that fountain is gone, you say, you know what? I can't drink that no more. I got to get another fountain.
Mm.
When you the one that tore the fountain down in the first place.
So true. So true.
See?
Mhm.
So we've got to maintain our own fountain
Yeah.
as well as well, and then we got to help each other maintain our fountain and our well. See?
Mhm.
And so because it's upon us, the responsibility is upon us
That's right.
to do this.
Mhm.
Okay. So I've got to take ownership and I got to be intentional. And I've got to do this. He said, watch this. Verse number 18 says, let your fountain be blessed.
Mhm.
Let your fountain be blessed, which means your fountain can be cursed.
That's right. Mhm.
See, let your fountain be blessed. Let means to give permission
That's right.
and authority, access and allowance. Let,
Mhm.
which simply means this, y'all. It don't happen automatically.
Right.
You got to let it. See, you got to be willing as well as able. And I hope you're hearing me. What I'm saying is that you've got to be intentional. You got to be deliberate. You got to put in the work. And I'm telling you something, and this can be some hard work
Yeah.
or some joyful work.
Yeah.
And sometimes it can be easy,
Mhm.
but it's based upon your mentality. You know, it's got to be worth it to you, you know, and because the relationship has to be worth it. And I believe it is, but a lot of times we lose our perspective and we say it ain't worth it because our mind is moving to something else,
Yeah.
you know, slowly but surely.
Our
And,
eyes.
yeah, our eyes are
Yeah.
wandering, all that kind of stuff. You say, man, it ain't worth it no more.
That's right.
That was times where you know, you didn't believe that, you know,
Mhm.
but God time, you know, when you don't lie to yourself or deceive yourself or whatever the case may be, or somebody else in your ear
Yeah.
that ought not be in your ear or in your eyes and face,
That is so
that shouldn't be, got you thinking the grass is greener on the other side, got you looking across the fence. Listen, some of y'all looking across the fence and you think you see a barn fire on the other side of the fence. To my boy, it's hot over there. Oh boy, he hot over there. She hot. Yeah, you think it is, but what you don't realize, that's fake flame.
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
See, at a distance, it looks real.
Yeah.
You know, I got a fake fireplace in my office at the ministry. Boy, it looks mighty hot.
That's true.
You touch it as cold as ice.
Exactly.
You know, it gives the illusion of heat, and it's not.
That's right.
You can fake fire.
Yeah.
Another way of saying it is the grass look green on the other side, but it's artificial turf.
That's right. That's good.
It's artificial fire on the other side. But we talk about a real fire.
Yeah.
And one that got some real smoke
Amen.
and some real heat.
Mhm.
And can make some real changes, because a real fire makes some real changes.
Yes.
See, for your good and for the enemy's bad. So you must renew and remember. So our second thought is you must renew and remember your original desires, meaning go back to your original healthy thoughts, your healthy speaking, and your healthy actions, and reconnect to them. See? Because look what it says in verse number 18. It says, rejoice with the wife of your youth.
Yes.
So if you're in your middle age and latter age and you're struggling and the fire is gone, he said, remember the wife of your youth. Rejoice with the wife of your youth. He's telling you, go back to the original joy that y'all had in the early days. See, we got to stop believing that everything has to get old, and it doesn't. Your passion for each other don't have to get old. See, you got to go back to the original. It says rejoice. Watch this. Rejoice with. And it also, the word with also means in.
Right.
It means to rejoice within and with. See? So let's look at the word rejoice. It means to go back to your joy, your place of joy.
That's good.
Rejoice with the wife of your youth. It means to allow yourself mentally to go back to your original youthful joy.
Yeah.
You see, the reason our relationship is continuing to grow and to get hotter and to stay hot is not because of our goodness.
Right. Right.
And unfortunately, it's not because of my handsomeness, unfortunately. And it's not because of your gorgeous beauty, unfortunately.
Not at all.
It's because we practice the principles that we're telling you.
And we're intentional.
And intentional.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? We live constantly aware of this, that the relationship of us, as you see on the screen here, right there, the relationship of us, the success of us hinges on the success of the two yous.
That's right.
See? So that you got to be successful, this you got to be successful. Yeah. I've got to keep my fire hot, she got to keep her fire hot. And we come together we burn up a doggone a barn, we burn out a neighborhood. We burn up all the haterators around us.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yes, really, that's what you got to do. See, you've got to be intentional, and you got to listen. You got to constantly be going back. So listen. So I constantly remember my original passion.
Yeah.
Which means, as far as listen to me very careful. Since some of y'all want to stay in the past, because I know you know how to go back to the past. But we go back to the past in the wrong things. But let me give you permission, as the Bible's giving you permission, to go back in your past in a good way. Meaning, hold on to your past passion for your current spouse.
Right.
That's what this is telling you. Remember that youthful, that original, that early, not just when you were young, because you might have been 45 when you got married, that's still young, but that's not what the word youth is referring to. Your mentality and the passion, the youthfulness of the passion. Because when your fire goes out, that simply means your emotions done got old.
That's true.
Your fire done got old. And you shouldn't let your fire get old. You shouldn't let your emotions toward each other get old. You got to keep them young.
Yeah.
Because the younger your emotions are, the younger your passion is, the hotter it is.
Yeah.
So I need you to get rid of those old emotions, those old feelings about negative feelings I'm talking about. And go back to your exciting passion and emotions about each other.
Yeah.
See, and sit around and talk about that. So be intentional about talking about and sit down and remember and revisit and renew your mind by having a conversation. Say, you know what?
Yeah.
I remember when we used to say these things to each other.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I remember when we used to have these kind of conversations.
Mm-hmm.
Girl, I remember when I used to come over your house
Mm-hmm.
and sneak in the bedroom window.
Oh, wow. That's teenage stuff, baby.
Yeah. And I'm not telling y'all to go back to sin. That's not what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? What I'm saying is that, you know, that all that courage and courageousness you had to go in the bedroom, you know, go back to those kind of feelings and those adventures and being a daredevil to take some more risks. Some of y'all don't stop taking risks. Yeah, you know, get in the car and go down to the park at midnight while the police is out there, and get in the back seat. I'm talking about husband and wife, ain't talking about boyfriend and girlfriend. I'm talking about husband and wife. Get in the back seat.
Just kiss them, because you can get it.
No. I mean, go to jail together for once. I'm telling you, that'll help you restore your fire, because I'm telling you something, you be so anxious to get up out that doggone jail.
Wow.
You got to take some risks. Now I'm being funny and facetious, but you get my point?
Yeah.
You know, because you used to take risks, you know, you're talking about, girl, you know, listen, you know, you be out there in 13-degree weather in your short pants trying to go see each other.
That's right.
Because you were so broke, you didn't have no long pants. It didn't matter.
That's right.
But now y'all got a little bit of money and got cold-hearted.
Yeah.
Don't need each other no more. You know what? You've been getting on my nerves, and I never did like that about you in the first place.
Wow. That's true.
Well, go back to those passions that cause you to deal with and accept and ignore what you didn't like a long time ago.
Right.
See, have those conversations.
Mm-hmm.
Sit around.
Yes.
You know, because a lot of times it's just simply that they're not talking no more. You're not communicating. When you're only talking, you know, when you want to find out about the bills, about negative stuff, or when somebody hurt your feelings, then you want to talk.
Yeah.
I'm amazed at people want to talk when their feelings hurt, but don't want to talk when ain't nothing going wrong. You know, when anybody doing anything wrong. No, talk.
Yeah.
Positive talk, good talk. So rejoice, it means this. Rejoice. Re means to go back.
Mm-hmm.
Re means to reconnect.
Mm-hmm.
Re means to repeat. So what he's saying to you is this. You've got to learn how to repeat your original joy for one another.
Right.
I know a lot of things that happened in the last 10 years and 20 years or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Life is happening to us all. It is not our life experiences that's getting the best of us. It's our mishandling of our life experiences that's getting the best of us.
Life experiences, yeah.
Because I can hear somebody saying, but you don't know who we've been through. You don't know what she said to me and did to me. You don't know what he did. I know that. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, if you want to rekindle, I'm not telling you to act like that negative thing didn't happen. I'm telling you is, if you want to rekindle, you're going to have to think beyond that, what they said and what they did. Right. If you're choosing to stay and rekindle. Mm-hmm. You see? And if it's not infidelity, then you need to stay. Or physical abuse.
Or verbal abuse.
You know, if your life is threatening.
Yeah.
I don't know about that verbal abuse thing. You know, that, you know.
Well, we definitely disagree on that one.
Yeah, see, y'all heard it on air. She disagreed with me. See, y'all pray for her.
Because think about it, baby.
No.
Emotionally.
Yeah, I got it. But I'm not saying that's not grounds. Ever become grounds, depends on the level, because you know, you can't just generally say that, you know what I'm saying? Because it can, that can be corrected, and sometimes that's an education issue. Yeah. And the scripture don't necessarily give us that out, but when it gets to a certain level, I got it. Yeah. But just because it happened or whatever, because listen, we all done called each other out of name in our, in our minds. It's unacceptable for
You're
sure.
putting the fire out for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
You are.
So I'm not, don't trust me, I'm not saying it's acceptable. I'm not saying it's
Right.
good, whatever. I'm just saying, don't be so quick to pull the trigger about, I'm out of here. You know what I'm saying? And so, but anyway, that's for a whole nother lesson. And so he said, rejoice. So go back to your original joy, revisit, repeat your joy. You got to repeat. See, stop repeating the negative stuff and repeat the positive things in your relationship. Because I don't know nobody who don't have something positive they can look to in their relationship.
Right.
Now, it may have been, 95 years ago, I got it. See what I'm saying? But you still here after 95 years, so it's got to be worth something.
Yeah, that's true.
And then you can find some other things, because there's some other things that you probably overlooked and took for granted.
Yeah.
So the point is, it can be rekindled. Okay, the fire can be good, but you got to go back to the original healthy thoughts. That's the criteria. Healthy thoughts.
What made you fall in love in the first place?
Yeah.
Yes.
Those things that lit your fire, light your fire. And
sometimes, my love, real quick, there were things that we did for each other that really helped us to, fall really hard. So go back to that. Go back to that. And
so it says, your thoughts, speech, and your actions. Things that you used to do.
That's right.
That you stop doing.
Yeah.
And people stop doing them because, not just because they getting older physically, because your passion is getting old.
That's right. They have grown.
And you should, because just because you 95 or 75, your body is older, that don't mean you have to lose your passion and fire for each other.
That's right.
You may get to where you can't physically have sexual intercourse at some age, but that don't mean your passion have to go out for each other, because you can't have sex, because your passion for each other should not be based upon sex alone.
That's true.
You see, and because things can happen medically to people.
That's right.
That can go away. Then what? See, it takes maturity to do this. And it's not for the faint at heart. It is not for the weak at heart. Right. It is not for, the immature. You got to be mature in doing this, but you got to be intentional about it. Okay. Yes. And my third point is this. I'm going to skip one to get to this third one. You must change what you think. You must change what you say. And like she just said, you must change what you do. Yeah. Because it's what you say, what you think, and what you do that push your fire out or that rekindles your fire. Those are the three things. What I think, what I say, and what I do. So you got to be intentional about what you say, what you think, and what you do. Now, let me tell you about those, as it says here in verse number 17. Let them be only your own and not strangers with you. Drink out of your own fountain, your own well, and not with strangers with you. All right. With you, strangers with you. That means, first of all, it means don't be physically engaging other people outside of your marriage that's taken away from your marriage. Don't be engaged in friends. Don't be engaged in families. Don't be family members. Don't be engaged in co-workers. Don't be engaged in neighbors. Don't be engaged in anyone. Church members, anyone that takes away life from your relationship.
That's right. Don't entertain them.
Don't see why. Don't let people drain your well. Yeah. That you ain't got nothing for each other. Right. Pastors have to really be careful about this. Those of you that are in ministry have to really be careful. This why? Because you let people drain you and you ain't got nothing for your spouse. You can't do that. You got to protect your well and your fountain. You got to give your spouse something to drink from. Yeah. You can't let everybody have your fountain. Then your spouse got to find a way trying to drink out your fountain and got to find a little spot to get in and get them a little sip of water. No.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, but that's very common.
It's very common.
Very common.
And you got to protect your fire. I do not let the ministry that I do, and I'm serious about the ministry I do, and I got a lot of things I'm doing ministry, but I do not allow the ministry, my passion for ministry, put out my fire for my mate.
That's right.
For my marriage.
That's right.
You got to balance that.
Yeah.
See, no excuse. How busy you are, how you got to be productive.
Very true.
And I hear people say all the time, we outgrew each other, and especially in the ministry.
Wow.
And you got to balance that.
Yeah.
Now every relationship is different. You got to find out what worked with you and your spouse. You can't do what the next preacher doing, the next pastor. You got to find out what worked for you and your spouse. And you got to balance it accordingly. That's why you got to have these conversations before you get married, if you're in ministry, to find out, so they can have a good idea what they're signing up for. Now, we don't know everything, but you can give enough picture. Listen, this is what I am, what I do, and what it requires. And I need to know, can you handle this? Are you up to this? Excuse me. See, these are things we got to think about. So I'm talking to those you in ministry, and then those you're not in ministry, everybody else, your work, it could be your work that you do, your business. See, you cannot justify your passion to be successful in business rather, as an excuse to not keep your marriage fire hot.
Right. Very true.
Because I'm out there trying to make money for the family. I'm trying to do something. I got that. But you don't sacrifice the family for that.
Exactly. She needs some time.
Yeah.
The family needs some time.
She. I mean, because you find wives to do the same thing.
That's true.
You see what I'm saying? You got to be intentional. Why? Because if not, you'll find yourself with strangers.
Wow.
And watch this. And because you got strangers with you, which means outside of your marriage, you'll find that within your marriage, you're living with a stranger.
That's right. Yeah.
Because y'all become strangers. You know why? Because the one that's your own, you exchange them with strangers, and now the strangers become your own, and your own has become your stranger.
Yeah. That's right.
So you got to be careful. Why? Because you got to understand this about the psyche, your mind. Your mind can flip on you by the way you keep pushing it.
Yeah.
Which means you got to constantly push your mind towards your spouse. Not by force, just by habit. You got to keep on repeating.
Right.
See? You ain't got to so much keep on saying the same thing, but you got to know how to keep your mind where it needs to be. Why? You got to train your mind. Because this is what he's telling you to do. He's telling you, read, do this. You got to do that. You got to do that. All right. It says, let me tell you about some strangers, and we're gonna kind of close on this. Here are some hidden strangers. It means this, y'all. Watch this. You must change what you think, say, and do. What I mean by change what you think, you got to change what you think about your spouse and others. Because did you not know that the thoughts that you have about somebody outside of your spouse can be a reason why you lost your fire for your spouse?
That's right.
And let me give you a real subtle one that a lot of people think is okay, and it's not okay. Fantasies. Serious fantasies or playful fantasies. They all do the same thing. If you got a fantasy about some movie star, somebody famous, that if I can have if I was so, you got people who think that it's okay to fantasize,
Right.
and I've had people ask me, and I remember you asked me. She asked me early on,
what are your fantasies?
What are my fantasies? I said, I don't have no fantasies.
I needed to know.
Right, I don't waste my energies like that on fantasies. That's why I didn't fantasize when I was in middle school. They tell me, you're too serious, son. You just 6, son. You too sick. You too serious to be 6 years old.
You're still serious.
Yeah, I didn't watch cartoons when I was a kid, so I don't do fantasies.
Right, right.
I watched, Little Rascals and the Stooges.
Right.
But no, for real though, I didn't do fantasies. I don't like. What do you mean fantasy? I don't fantasize about that. Why? I go get it. I don't fantasize about it. I just go get it, right or wrong.
Okay.
That's what I used to think. Now it's all about right.
Right.
See, fantasy is a waste of your thoughts and your time. It steals your energy. So
right.
if you got a fantasy about a movie star, let me talk to some of y'all brothers out there tonight. If I had a Halle Berry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Go get you some strawberries and some jelly if you want a berry. And put it on your spouse and say, girl, have some berries. And then you got your whatever. Anyway, stop all that foolishness. Yeah. That's not healthy.
Not at all.
Now, I know you think I'm making something out of nothing, but I'm not.
It's serious.
Because you can't understand that all your thoughts count. Just like the Bible said, all your idle words, you're going to give an account for. Mm-hmm. You're going to give an account for all your idle thoughts. What are idle words and idle thoughts? Empty, full of foolishness, not fruitful, not beneficial, wasteful. Yeah. To have fantasy is a waste of your thoughts. And anytime you waste thoughts, you waste energy.
Well, I'm gonna tell
you waste emotions.
Too, baby. If it's a real deep-rooted fantasy, you also, while you with your spouse, you could be having thoughts of that person.
That's adultery.
Is not healthy. That's adultery.
That's adultery.
Yeah, allowing other people to come into your room.
Yeah.
Defiling your bed.
Yeah. Yeah, that's defiling the bed. See, if you fantasize being with somebody else while you're with your spouse, you're committing adultery.
That's right.
You having an orgy, you having a threesome or a foursome. I don't know how many people you fantasizing about, but you know what I'm saying? Because the event don't last that long, so I don't know how many people you can fantasize. You know what I'm saying? Whatever.
It's a problem because some people do have fantasies and crushes or whatever.
It's these kind of things. Subtly but surely, they put out your fire for the one you're with. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And let me tell you something, as we prepare to close, for those of you that are dating out there, because there's some things that you got to think about and got to consider when you're choosing a mate. That'll get you later on. They may not get you right away, but you need to give more weight to them. For example, if a person tells you while they're dating you that they ready to settle down,
okay,
listen to me very careful. Mm-hmm. If they tell you, they communicate to you that when you meet them and you talk to, however the conversations come up and they say, because they ready to settle down, that's them telling you they ain't ready for marriage. Number one. Number two, that's them telling you they're going to use marriage to put out the fire they have with other folks.
At least they're going to try.
No. They're going to use it. It ain't going to work, but they're going to use it. So they're telling you, I'm getting married because I'm ready to settle down. What they said is they're going to use marriage to put out all of their loose fires they got all over town. Wow. That's your cue right there that they ain't the one. Yeah. And if you think that you can put out somebody's fire for somebody else, you're sadly mistaken. Because just like only you can light your own fire, only you can put out your own fire.
That's right. That's right. Mm-hmm.
So that's not a positive sign. Mm-hmm. I'm talking to those who ain't married and who looking, if that all kind of stuff, ask that question. Are you doing it because you ready to settle down, or why you want to be in a relationship? Why you want to? If they say something like that, that ain't it. They ain't ready. See why? Mm-hmm. Because they have not learned how to put out their own ungodly fires and lust and passion for others and for multiples. Don't you dare think it's going to come to a screeching halt just over you.
That's right. Don't fool yourself.
No, you setting yourself up for a world of hurt.
That's right. That is so true.
Because they may turn down the heat on all those other fires, but trust me, they burning underneath.
That's right.
Maybe a little bit of flame, a little bit of spark. But as soon as you get off track, or you cross them and you don't wrong, or you don't come through, or you don't hang from the chandelier like they want, or you don't come down the pole, or, you know, ride down the stairwells, rail or whatever, you know, or jump from the banister. I don't know what kind of tricks y'all be doing. Whatever trick they want, as soon as you can't perform your acrobatics and the circus is over, they're going to find them another circus.
That's right. That's right.
Why? Because they never put that out. See, and their fire for you gonna go out because they still had fire for a lot of others.
That's right.
See, and another thing to ask is, do they believe in dating multiple people? Casually or otherwise? If they do, they ain't the one. They ain't ready. Why? They don't have a oneness mentality.
Yeah.
See, they entertain too many fires. They can't keep one burn, just one burning. They got to have multiples. Not a good sign. Not a good sign. That's just some side wisdom.
Yeah. Look for the signs.
Yeah. You know, yeah.
They are there.
You know, and I got a teaching called Trace of a Helpmate versus Trace of a Hurt Me. Those two things right there are traits of a hurt me. Meaning a person that'll hurt you. They won't help you.
And that's a deep hurt.
Yeah, that's a deep hurt, real hurt. And it's a real hurt. And so, listen, we out of time on tonight. And I want to thank you for joining us. It has been a blessing to you. Tell somebody about the Thursday night Successfully Us broadcast. And we're just answering the question. And this is a long answer on this one question. And but we got a few more things we want to give to you next time. And then we'll go to our next question. But in the meantime, stay with us and continue to join this. And if you have any questions, listen, up there up on the email right there, send us an email, send your question in. Even if it's question about something we've said on this broadcast, on this question here, this subject, send us your question. We'll be glad to answer your question. And because listen, your question will help somebody else.
That's right.
Because so if you thought about something, not regards to yourself, but thought about a friend, a family, a foe, a co-worker, send in your question and then tell them to tune in and get the answer. Amen. Until next time, listen, you got to depend upon the Lord to help you in your relationship.
And he wants to.
Yeah, he wants to. It's about him. And so remember, in order to be successfully us, you got to learn how to be successfully you individually. And one of the key things to being successful to you is you've got to continue to learn how to become single. What do you mean by that, Pastor? The word single means whole, not broken, together, all one. You got to constantly be on a journey of becoming more and more whole, more and more all one.
Yeah.
Singleness is not a marital state. Singleness is a mental state.
Amen.
How single is your mind? How together is your mind? How whole, how solid, how sound is your mind, your thinking, your thought process, your emotions.
Right.
See? And so we'll talk about that one day. And I got a teaching called Singleness. Don't leave home without it. Because too many of us leave home and we were never single. We left home all broken up, busted and disgusted. And we go out there and try to find somebody to make us whole.
That's right.
And it ain't gonna happen. Amen. So join us the next time as we continue to talk about how to rekindle the fire of desire for your spouse. God bless you. Appreciate y'all. Y'all have a great night and be kind to each other and help you to, because it's possible it can happen.
That's right.
Amen. You survive until Jesus comes. We hit it. Have a great week.